listen.
Okay.
I don't remember what the date was. Do we know what the date was?
It was like October 10th.
October 10th, so let's listen to this. Just several days after October 7th.
So I'll start maybe from Saturday night. My husband got the call, and he drove up north. And in the next morning, we went to my parents, and we spent the day just glued to the news and doing a puzzle, because we literally couldn't do anything else, and feeding the kids. And over the last few days, I've started to map out the pieces of what it means to hold down the fort of my home and my 4 kids. My son, who's 9, who's incredibly emotionally intelligent and articulate and talks a lot, had like a breakdown. Everything came pouring out. Why is my Abba the only Abba who's been called to Miluim and all my friends' Abbas are home? Why are we here? And it's those moments you have to be a mountain. But that means that your emotional state has to be able to think clearly enough to be able to recognize their distress and speak to their distress in that moment. So you have to make sure that you're on solid footing. You need to figure out how to be on solid footing when the main person who holds that for you is not there.
So how was it? How did it feel just on like the heart or gut level for you?
It was so emotional. To like go, I think I listened to it maybe once more since like it came out. So it's not like something that is fresh. I thought that was an intense moment. It got so much more intense. It got so much harder. At that moment, I thought I was gonna do this for 6 weeks, you know, at the most.
Which is a long time.
Which is a long time. I mean, it got like in February, it got better. It wasn't as much, and he kind of went back to work and whatever, but he wasn't, like I said in the podcast that Abba's a ninja. I married a ninja. Like, I am not used to, I'm even now, like, he was called back again because of Lebanon. He was called back yesterday. I'm not used to not having that presence of another person, another brain who's holding things with me. And I thought at that time I was gonna do it for 6 weeks at the most. And I ended up doing it by myself for almost 6 months. And so that just like listening to that and hearing how like, I also think that like, wow, I had a lot of presence of mind at that moment, and I'm kind of like proud of myself. We are so solid, and we have so much like respect and appreciation for each other and who we are to each other. But it wasn't like all sababa, like great. He came home after like the most intense parts of the reserve duty, and he had like to go back to work. And he's like a very capable, impressive, high-tech guy who like manages people and projects and budgets and whatever. And he came back and his brain just shut down. He like couldn't click back in. It was very traumatic. And so he wasn't himself for a while, like a month or so. And then he kind of got it back together and expected everything to just go back to normal. But I needed to fall apart too. And I had to demand it. Like I had to really, I'm not good at that. Like I'm always tough. I've always got it together. Akol beseder. No. We had like crises when I had to like say like, I'm not okay. I need you to show up for me now. Like, I was here, I did it. I held the house and the family and whatever, and you coming home and supporting you going back, and like, give me a minute, I just wanna. My brother-in-law, my sister's husband, about 10 days into the ground invasion of Gaza, was wounded when an RPG blew up on his tank, and he was at the front of the tank. And thank God, he's a walking miracle. He lost an eye, but that's it. He's, like, his body is whole. I was also, like, holding them. And I have a beautiful relationship with my niece and nephew with private jokes because they spent so much time here. Like, I remember before we got married, he wrote me this letter the weekend before our wedding saying that, like, I just trust you implicitly. I trust you with my life, with our future family's life, with anyone I love's life. I trust you. And we were babies. We wrote that when we were 23. Like, he had no idea what was coming and what life would bring and whatever. But it's that. It's like this deep trust of, like, I've got you. I've got the people you love. And even now, this week, when he was called back up, I had a morning where I was like shaky and post-trauma and whatever. And then throughout the day, I took some really deep breaths again and was like, okay, I know how to do this. I trust what you're doing. I think it's important. I wish you didn't have to. There's been some really tough realizations because of the situation in this country. They raised the age of the reserves for officers. And, oh, you might want to turn the camera around.